What is up, guys? Thanks again for watching Poor Boys RC, where today I thought it would be a good idea to give you guys a little bit of a channel update because I've got several projects on the go right now, none of which I'm able to really finish, none of which I'm able to get a lot of footage on. So I thought I'd give you guys a quick little video, get you caught up on everything that's going on here at the hobby room, and give you an idea of what's coming up down the line.
Excellent!
Let's start off with the Tamiya CC02. Now, this truck has been assembled for a little bit of time now, and if you take a good look underneath, you can see some wear marks on these lower links and on the bottom of the transmission. So yes, I did take this out for one run. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage for you guys because I really just wanted to get a feel for it. I've driven a CC01 for many years. I was really excited to get a feel for the CC02. To be honest, I loved it. But I do have some upgrades coming. I've got a skid plate, I've got high clearance aluminum lower links, and I'm pretty sure I've got a couple other goodies in the mail for this guy as well, all coming from RC Mart, which does tend to take a little bit of time. So I'm gonna do an upgrade video when those parts come in, and then we're gonna get this thing out on the rocks because the CC02 is a great trail truck. I definitely push it beyond what it's meant to be doing, and I was definitely finding some limitations with these lower links here. Just the way they're designed, you can see the way that they really hang quite low. Look at that back one there. And they get hung up quite a bit. And the same goes with the bottom of the chassis here. You can see the transmission, just the way everything's built here. It's really prone to getting caught on rocks. So I got a nice big skid plate for it. You can see it right here. And that should really help it glide over the rocks and over all the obstacles that it's going to have in its near future. Other than that, the CC02 was a lot of fun on the trails when I did take it out. I live in the Pacific Northwest. This is kind of our rainy, mossy season. And there's just something really satisfying about watching these things rip up the moss off the rocks. It really looks cool. So that's the update on the CC02. I will have more footage for you guys in the very near future. Switching gears to my favorite RC car of all time, the Tamiya Midnight Pumpkin. Let's get it off the shelf. You lovely son of a gun. Now this thing's still spec'd out from the speedrun challenge from 2022. I've still got my slick tires on there. I don't think I've driven it since then. The Midnight Pumpkin was my first ever hobby grade RC and therefore will always be my favorite hobby grade RC car. If you've never driven one of these, the Lunchbox, the Mitsubishi Montero wheelie, they make a Unimog version of it now. It's pretty much the most fun you can have an RC with your pants on. So I strongly suggest you get one of these if you haven't driven one yet. They're a ton of fun. If you have driven one of these, you know they've got things like really wacky camber in the front wheels. Look at that. What's really going on? And that's with the camber correction plate in there. This one has the aluminum chassis on it. I've got a whole build video series on this Midnight Pumpkin. So I'll link that down below so you guys can watch it if you want to learn more about this truck. I've done a lot of modifications to this thing. We've got a 12-turn brushless motor in here, brushless speedo. This thing absolutely tears. So I've got some aggressive tires that are going to go on this guy. And what I am most excited about is this upgrade from UK Monsters. Check that out, guys. We are finally going to have camber corrected front arms. No longer will we have this wacky front end camber. It will be corrected with this kit. I'll put a link down below so you guys can find this. You can do all the research on it yourselves, but this UK Monster front suspension kit, double wishbone front kit, is phenomenal. Delrin pieces, super, super beefy, aluminum uprights or C-hub, whatever you want to call that piece there. This is of all of the double wishbone front suspension kits available for the CW01, at least from the research I was able to do, this seemed to be the beefiest, most durable out there. Ampro Engineering has one, and everything that Ampro Engineering makes is phenomenal. I can't say enough good stuff about them, but he says himself, this is not for hard bashing. His parts are 3D printed, whereas this is printed or machined, I believe, from Delrin, which is a very, very strong material. And I do plan on bashing the heck out of this thing still. So we had to get the strongest part we could. So I'm really excited to try that out. That's going to be in an upcoming video as well. And adding more to the CW01 Tamiya Midnight Pumpkin, more good bits and bobs out of the UK. But this is a CW01 chassis widening kit. We are going to take this thing 1 centimeter this way, 1 centimeter out this way. It's going to be 20 millimeter additional track width on the front and the rear. Really nice machined aluminum rears, and then a spacer for the front with some ball bearings and other hardware. So the pumpkin has already been stretched. I've got the 3D printed chassis extension kit right here. Now it's going to be wider. I'm going to have better tires on it, off-road tires, and we're going to have double wishbone front suspension. This is going to be the ultimate Midnight Pumpkin by the time we're done. I do have an OG 1988, I believe it was, stamped Tamiya ABS Midnight Pumpkin body shell. We are going to paint it in automotive black. My wife, who is an automotive auto body painter, is going to paint it black for me in automotive paint. We're going to apply the decals, and then we're going to clear coat over it and make a really epic Midnight Pumpkin body for this beauty. Of course, I won't run it. It's going to be way too nice to run. We'll run it with this basher body on there, but it sure will look good up on the shelf. So that's coming down the line for you guys as well. I picked up the speed controller recently. I figured, you know what, with so many Hobbywing 1060s being used these days, I thought we'd try something different. Good price point. It was about $40 Canadian. Good up to 2S, not 3S. It looks like it does have reverse and a good for up to 10 turn motors. So, I'm not going to do a whole video series on it or anything, but it's just kind of a neat alternative. ESC, I think it looks cool. It's kind of got a bit of a retro look to it. Kind of that good combination of retro look with modern day technology that will work well. So I'm excited to get that one installed, and I think I have a kit in mind to install it on. Talk about a great segue into the next project, Phil. And what is that project? It is the Tamiya MB-01 Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GTA. The MB-01 chassis is a unique chassis. You've got a couple different setup configurations for it. We'll get into that when we get into this kit build. It was originally released with a Fiat body, which honestly, my sister drives that car. I just couldn't get an RC version of the car my older sister drives. It was not cool. It did not fly for me. So we'll do a full unboxing and full video series on this, guys. We're going to build it. I'll quickly let you have a sneak peek inside this box. This is, a pretty basic looking kit. We're going to have to paint the body. We're going to have to assemble everything, full assembly kit. This does not come with any option parts. So this is going to be like bushings, friction shocks, cheap. So that is coming up down the line as well. I also picked up some vintage brushed motors off of a Facebook group, and let me know if you guys want to kind of dive into this kind of content. I haven't really done it on this channel yet. Old motors, things like that. There's definitely still a market, very much a live and healthy market for this kind of thing. I'll quickly show you guys what I've got here. If you want to know more about them, let me know. Maybe we can do a separate video just for all these. A nice handful of vintage used motors from one of our Facebook groups here. Nice, race prep. We got the old slot machine, pocket rocket, another race prep, second gen speed gem, and then this bad boy, which I don't know too much about, but it looks like it's got the timing cranked on it. It's been well used, and it's a 12-turn double, so that thing just looks like it's fast. Hopefully it's not burnt up. But anyway, a couple really neat vintage motors to go into some of the vintage kits that will be coming to the channel soon. So that's it for me today, guys. Just a quick update video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, be excellent to each other.